Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest, Amy Robinson. How are you doing today?
I am doing great and thrilled to be here.
Excellent, excellent. It's such a pleasure to have you here today. Why don't you look into the camera and introduce yourself and the name of your business?
I'm Amy Robinson, and my business is Intrinsic HR Business Partners.
Excellent, excellent. Now, today, we want to ask you to share with us a little bit about your journey of how you got to being in HR. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've done to get you to where you are now.
Okay, great. So I began a career late in life. I was a stay-at-home mom for many years.
Okay.
I went to work for a company, really just kind of an entry-level position. And from there was promoted to office manager.
Okay.
And from there, added to my duties, in addition to being the office manager, was HR.
Okay.
And I just found that I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so interesting. Worked for that company for quite a few years, doing all of their HR.
Okay.
And then took a bit of a sabbatical and then went to work for another company doing in-house HR. Again, I just really, really liked it. It's complex. You're always learning. You're always doing continuing education. It's just a very interesting field, at least for me. A lot of people find it tedious and a bit boring, but for me it was fascinating and I loved it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now, as far as enjoying something is always good, because when you enjoy it, it's easier for you to do. Now, as you were getting going and you were switching from office manager to solely into HR, it was something that happened, an event or something that took place that made you say, hey, I'm going to go all in on the HR part and leave the other task alone. What was it that happened that made you do that?
It was a new opportunity.
Okay.
It was a new company and they were looking for HR specific. And I was just thrilled. And I was connected with them through another business associate who spoke highly of me, thankfully, which made the interview process fairly simple.
Yeah.
And I was able to just jump in with both feet. The company had never had dedicated HR. They'd had several people doing different HR tasks, and I was their first dedicated HR person.
Okay.
And so it was a challenge, but it was one that I loved and embraced.
Okay. Now, with you being in HR, I'm sure there's a lot of things you can say, you can't say, relationships you can't really have. Tell us a little bit about that portion of HR that many people may not even know about.
Well, that's the part that's not as enjoyable. In HR, you always have to remain objective, and you have to be very careful about your relationships with your coworkers, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, you might have to reprimand one of them. You might have to discipline. You may even have to terminate their employment. And so if you've befriended someone and, become their best buddy, and then you find yourself in a situation where you might terminate them, that's obviously very awkward. It's very uncomfortable. So you have to remain on a bit of an island as in-house HR for a company.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, you were saying that that's one portion that you didn't necessarily like. There are a lot of aspects that you do like. So you made a transition into your current situation that took you out of that in-house deal. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So with Intrinsic HR, we are consultants, which means I'm not working solely for one company. I have many clients. They run the gamut from, engineering to, manufacturing to white collar fields. So it spans. It spans all different kinds of industries. And I just found my true passion, because consulting is what I love, that I've learned that I love it. And it's something new every single day.
Yes.
It's new people, it's new opportunities, it's new opportunities to help people. And that's what I love to do. I love to help my clients solve their problems. Yeah,
it seems like it allows you to actually build relationships instead of putting yourself in a silo all the time also.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I love. I feel like I know my clients because we offer very personalized service. So when my client calls, our number, the intrinsic number, they're going to talk to me.
Okay.
I am their personal representative.
Okay.
And so I've formed relationships. I know about their families. I know what they enjoy doing, you know, and as well, I'm able to remember the circumstances, you know, of our previous conversations.
Oh,
And I
yes.
know their situations and can drill down on those and help them solve them.
Yes. Now, I know it's a personal service that you provide to it. I can tell that you are very, on top of making sure the relationships are good. Tell us about some of the services that you're actually providing for those businesses.
Okay. Well, you know, we offer almost everything that HR could need. Just about. We don't do payroll.
Okay.
So that's just one of the things we don't do. I think our most valuable service is our on-call service.
Okay.
And that is where a client can pay a fee based on the number of their employees, an annual fee, and we are literally their HR help desk.
Okay.
So they can call us with any HR question, you know, any problem they need solved, and we are there to help them do that.
Okay.
We also offer everything from, you know, we can do personnel files. We do a lot of handbook reviews.
Okay.
Most people don't realize your handbook needs to be looked at every year.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't need major revisions, but it needs to be looked at. It needs to be revised every 2 to 3 years, at least.
Okay.
We do audits. We can do an I-9 audit. We can do an audit of your E-Verify process, your onboarding process.
Okay.
We can manage leave. FMLA leave can be
Yes.
a bit tedious and complicated,
Makes sense.
and we can manage that for people. We can help with onboarding, you know, processes and procedures. We can do, I've done quite a bit of sexual harassment training.
Okay.
There are several states that require that be in person. Georgia is not one of them, but it's people learn so much better when you're
Yes, when
engaged
you're
with
talking
them,
to them,
and
yeah.
you're talking to them and you're remembering their names and forming that relationship.
Yes.
So I've done quite a bit of sexual harassment training. We can come in and do management training for your staff.
Okay.
So our services are very customized. You know, if a client calls and says, you know, I need you to fire this person,
Yes,
you know, we
yes.
can do that.
Yes,
We can
yes,
do that
yes,
for
yes.
them. So we offer a lot of services, and they're all very customized and personalized.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what is a phone call that you receive? Because now what I want to build for the audience is a framework of what that ideal client looks like for you. Tell us a little bit about what it looks like, because I know you started to say it when someone needs help firing somebody. I know that's an ideal client, but tell us what that client looks like in your eyes.
You know, my favorite clients are the ones that have never had HR, or their HR is inexperienced in learning. One of my favorite clients right now, they have an HR person, but she's new and she's learning.
Okay.
And I speak with her regularly, and she calls me, you know, an example of a situation she had. She had an employee who played a very a vulgar song
Okay.
for another employee and said,
Okay.
hey, do you like this song? And so she said, what do I do? You know,
Okay.
I've never had a situation like this. And so that's where I can step in and I can walk her through,
Yes.
you know, what that process looks like. One thing we never do is we never tell our clients what to do.
Okay.
We give them advice, we paint the picture, we ask them what they want to do, and then we give them the pros and the cons of what they would like to do. And
Yes.
obviously we keep them within the law and keep them compliant.
Yes, makes a lot of sense. Now, that gives us a great framework of what the ideal client looks like. But we met through networking, and
Yes, we
we
did.
understand that having good referral partners is a great mix as well. What does a good referral partner look like in your eyes?
My favorite referral partner is a current client.
Okay.
But anyone that I've met with, I've engaged with, you know, I believe that if you build relationships, the transactions come later. So I truly focus on building relationships with my networking partners like you
Yes.
and other people that I've encountered, and just getting to know people so that they know that they can trust me. And they know that they can rely on the fact that I know HR and I know what their company might need, or their friend's company, or their client's company.
Okay.
So really, word of mouth and current clients are my favorite means of referral.
Excellent. So if you guys are out there and you hear someone that fits that framework, please give Amy a shout. Now, we also like to talk about some of the skills that you have acquired and nurtured over time. You had the ultimate job family, making
Yes,
sure to make
yes.
that work proper. Then you got into office managing and another set of skills, and now into HR. Do you mind sharing with us a skill or two that you have acquired that someone can add to their bag and maybe help their business?
Sure. I'm extremely organized.
Okay.
I also love to problem solve.
Okay.
I feel like a skill that I have is that I can look at a process, for instance, how someone is onboarding, and I can make it more efficient.
Okay. Okay.
I'm also empathetic.
Okay.
And I think that when you're able to feel what other people are feeling, you're better equipped to help them. And I think that that's very important in HR,
Yes.
especially HR consulting, when you might have a client who is, in a panic about the situation that they're dealing with, and I can come alongside them, empathize with them, and help them get through the situation and take their anxiety away.
Yes, yes, that's excellent that you said that, because trying to see it through someone else's eyes in the way that they're perceiving things helps you in that situation
Absolutely.
altogether, because we have our own set of history, that makes
Yes.
us make our decision, but being empathetic and taking time to find out how you see things easily helps to solve the problem. So that's an excellent skill for you guys to try and use. Now, you've told us all about the business. You told us all about the skills that you've acquired, but we also like the audience know that Amy is Amy.
Yes.
So what is it that Amy would like to do if she had a little bit more time away from the human resources?
You know, it sounds like a cliche to say I love my kids, but I love my kids.
Okay.
Nothing brings me greater joy than to spend time with my children. And they're all adults. They're all out of the house.
Okay.
I have a grandchild.
Nice,
That is the
nice.
greatest thing in the whole wide world is a little grandchild. She's a little girl. She's about 20 months old, and she is just the joy of my heart.
Okay.
But having all of my kids together is such a joy for me. I love to cook.
Okay.
I love to cook for my kids and my family. I grew up, they grew up with me cooking, and they still have their favorites. And I love it when they, request, a
Yes.
favorite if we're
Yes.
getting together as a family. So that's my very favorite thing to do. I love to travel.
Okay.
I've got a best friend that travels a lot as well, and we've done some trips together. Just spending the day in a beautiful setting. I love to walk a lovely town square and go into the locally owned shops and restaurants.
Yes,
And
yes.
to me, that's just it's very simple.
Yeah.
But to me, that's very enjoyable and relaxing. Just
yes.
reading a good book, or sitting outside and just now that the weather is finally getting
Yes,
cooler and
yes.
being able to enjoy the outdoors. But honestly, that little grandbaby is
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the start to everything.
Absolutely, she is.
Yes, yes. Now, how can the people get in contact with you if they have questions about HR, if they
Sure.
want to learn more about some of the skills that you have shared today? What's the best way for them to get
The
you?
very best way is through email.
Okay.
My email address is amy.robinson@intrinsichr.com. So that's the best and the quickest way because I've got my email with me at all times.
Okay.
We also have a website,
Okay.
intrinsichr.com.
Okay.
And
Can you spell it for us?
Sure, INTRINSICHR.com.
Okay. Okay.
So that's another means that we can be contacted through, and you can reach out, and we will receive an email. But sending me a direct email is the fastest and the best way to reach me.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate that because we do want people to reach out to you because you can tell you have a true great foundation as far as with caring. And when you're dealing with humans, it is human resources. That is an
Absolutely.
important component of it.
Sure.
So I want everyone to reach out to you if they have any questions or if they see any clients that can fall into that framework. Now, with this podcast, we are truly honored to have you here and share because you are actually sharing a piece of you, and we truly do appreciate that and want to give you the last word. So please look there in that camera and tell them something good.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'll say, Roderick, is thank you. You said it's an honor to have me, but it is such an honor to be here, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
What I would say is that every company needs HR. It doesn't matter how large or small you are. It doesn't matter if you have in-house HR already. HR is ever changing. It's ever evolving, and everyone needs it, no matter if you've been in business 3 months or if you've been in business for 30 years. So that's what I would say to every business owner is don't wait until you have a dire situation before you engage HR services.
Excellent, excellent. Those are wonderful tips, and we truly do appreciate you talking with us today. And just say a big thanks. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you as well, Roderick. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, yes. And then to the audience, be kind and thanks.